Let's continue here tonight. Earlier, some community members in Jegelsfontein desperately trying to find those missing. In the short video, you can see some of those community members who had been busy with their search for their loved ones, those that are missing following this mudslide. These are also some of the pictures that are showing just the extent of the damage that has been caused in this local mining town. Well, for more on the humanitarian efforts there, we're joined by Gift of the Givers, Dr Imitiaz Sooliman. Dr. Sooliman, good evening to you. Thanks for your time tonight. Absolutely devastating to see just how quickly this mudslide spread across this very small town and the impact of the damage that it has caused.
Yes, good evening, Kathy. Well, it's a dam wall that burst, a dam wall belonging to some mining company. It burst, and there was no real notice. There was no warning. It just happened without any warning. It caught people off guard. The cars were washed away, homes were washed away, people were washed away, animals were washed away. And the environmental impact of the disaster is going to be huge. This is mining sludge. And already the people are reporting that dead fish are coming out of the river. Sheep have been washed away, and those sheep that are drinking the water are also dying. There's no water to drink in the whole town. The electrical poles have been affected. ESCOM has been affected. The cellular networks have been affected. And there's just huge destruction everywhere. The grazing of the sheep has been affected. There's no fodder for them. So the impact on man, environment, and animal is huge.
You've had the opportunity of working in flood-hit areas, some of them, of course, affected by mud in the same way. How much more complicated does it make it to work and provide relief efforts under these conditions?
Well, yeah, you work at mining, you're working with chemicals, and it's much more dangerous in terms of what content is. I don't know what content is in the mining material, but already the impact by just seeing what is done to sheep and to fish, I'm sure there's lots of toxic substances inside there. What a normal mud and water is it's much easier. Yes, it causes some other type of damage, but it's not toxic. And the toxicity is a big problem here.
Let's talk about then some of the interventions that you think this town is going to need over the next couple of days, weeks ahead.
The immediate intervention obviously is, water. They've all called for water. They said there's not a drop of drinking water in the town. And of course, with that, those houses that have been damaged and people have to be moved require shelter. What that shelter, they require mattresses and blankets and, of course, feeding. We're not sure how many residents have been affected. That figure is not clear yet. I'm not saying in terms of death and in terms of broken houses. I'm talking in terms of displacement. They have to leave their homes. Mm-hmm. We don't know how many of those have been affected. And then we don't have the actual stats of the population. Some people say 5,000, some say it's up to 9,000. So that we'll only know by probably in the morning, in daylight time. So, in addition to that, the blankets, mattresses, and bottled water, there's some hygiene items, and of course, the food stuff to have ready meals, or also to cook hot meals for the people on site. And we've already loaded those items from Bethlehem, from Grafdinet, and from East London. And we're busy. Trucks are also coming from Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg, leaving tonight and in the early hours of the morning. But it's very, very unclear. We're all aware of injured people being taken to hospital, missing people have passed on. But in terms of the amount of displacement, those figures we don't know. So we don't know how many people we're catering for until maybe by tomorrow morning when it's daybreak.
You spoke about the fact that this was an unanticipated disaster. Nonetheless, it was a dam belonging to a mine there that seemed to collapse. How much responsibility do you think the mine should be taking in this moment? And this is in as far as leading then the processes of responding to this crisis in the community?
A mine has to play a major role, It may not have to lead the response because response is led by various sectors of government, and the various sectors of government are on site already. Local government, national disaster, social development, the mining ministry, all on site. And I know the engineers, from what I've been told, of the mine are also on site. So it's not so much about leading, it's about working in collaboration together and taking responsibility and sort of fixing, or sorting out and helping recover or repair and assess and compensate people who have lost their homes, people who have passed on, animals who have died. It's going to affect the economy, it's going to affect the farmers, it's going to affect job losses, and of course the major environmental damage which has to be cleaned up. And all this has to be responsibility whoever owned the dam.
Dr. Imitiaz Sooliman is with a gift of the givers. Of course, we'll be looking out then for the work that you'll be doing there over the next couple of weeks. We'll leave it there for tonight.